Welcome to Shaken and Stirred, and this is part 5, where we're looking at a couple of scriptures in the Bible, one in the Old Testament, one in the New, where it talks about being shaken. And we've also got a couple of characters, Joseph and Samson, that we've been looking at, and how they got shaken around. There's 3 different types of shakes that happens to us in life. We've already talked about how the world or life itself just shakes us, and how that happened with Joseph and the betrayals and injustices that he went through. The second one is the shaking that when we shake ourselves, when we try to sort ourselves out because we find ourselves snookered somehow. And that was Samson did that when the Philistines jumped on him. He said, "I'll arise and shake myself." And he had forgotten that his dependency was on God, and he actually had become weak without knowing it. And shaking himself really didn't amount to much. But in both of the stories of these men, the end of their lives ended up something totally different, that if you were reviewing the shaking season, you would think, well, things aren't going that great for them. And whether it's their own fault or the devil did it or anything like that, that's another subject. But what God does do, and this is the third part of the shaking, or the third type of shaking I want to talk about, is when God shakes us. And he says that in Hebrews. He says that whatever can be shaken, God is going to shake it, so that what's unshakable or cannot be shaken is going to remain, which is the eternal thing. And God has an eternal purpose for our lives, and sometimes we shake ourselves, sometimes life shakes us, and we'll sometimes put that on God as if He's doing all of it. At times He might be, but most of the time that's not true. But what is true is that Jesus, in His redeeming nature, is able to take both of those kind of shakes and use them for His purposes. He does what no one else can do. He can take what He says is death and turn it into life. He can take the things that are not and make them the things that are. In fact, Corinthians says God chooses the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. And think of what we were when He called us. Not many wise, influential, or noble. But He uses us for His purpose. He redeems the worst shakings in life into something fantastic. That's why we know of people who have had life-controlling problems with drugs and addiction, or people who have been trafficked or severely abused. And now they have ministries that are global or even just local in their local church, where they touch people who've had those same problems as them. That doesn't mean God put us through those terrible tragedies in life, but when they do shake us, He redeems it and turns it into something beautiful. Isaiah talks of it as beauty for ashes, the oil of gladness for mourning. Will you let Jesus redeem whatever has been shaking in your life? Buy it back and make something beautiful and precious of it. Only He can do that. And the end of the thing is so much better than the beginning. Give Him a chance to do it today. Invite Him and let Him in, and see how beautiful it turns out for you.